What's wrong with you?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Multiverse Fancast. If you guys listen to us on the go, you can find us on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, basically anywhere you get your podcasts. You can also find more of our content on our website, themisfitfaction.com. There you find links to not only this show, but some of our other shows like Cinematic Adventures and MF Uncensored. If you guys are watching us on YouTube, make sure you guys leave a like down below and subscribe for more mediocre content. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Paul. With me via the Zoom studio, you know him, you love him, well, you kind of tolerate him. It's Ronnie. Ronnie, how are you today?
Doing great. That was a fantastic intro. You're the best.
That was my entire level of energy. That was all. That was it. Like,
And
done.
we're going downhill from here, just like the superhero genre.
Ironically enough, we just start downhill and then we just kind of start pedaling and see where we go. So, as I say it on Cinematic Adventures too, like, comment, subscribe. That for more mediocre content. That's what we do. All right. But we are back. I know it has been a minute. We had some technical difficulties, mostly Ronnie and like mostly Ronnie's schedule and mostly Ronnie's fault, or the podcast studio had a partial flooding. We're not sure. It's one of the two, definitely.
Could be a combination of both. Who knows? But
Who does
let's
know?
lean more towards A.
Ronnie's fault. Yes. We'll do a whole episode. We'll do like an MF Uncensored of everything that's Ronnie's fault, and we'll just make up an entire episode of things that are not Ronnie's
You
fault.
want my wife to go on there?
No, it'll be too real. We have had both of our wives on MF Uncensored. You guys did an interview
Yes.
with Jackie when we first started, and producer Melanie's famously been on it a few times now. But we are back and we are talking some superhero topical stuff. Now, normally we'll pick like a movie or a TV show, but here we are. It is at time of recording, it's May 16th of 2024, and we are in an interesting spot in the superhero landscape where we're at that point where they're announcing new things are happening, it's a lot in motion, but at the same time we're also at the tail end of things like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and just a kind of downswing of the superhero genre. Now, we here at the show, we've always been very big advocates of the superhero mentality with shows and TV. Especially, we were big fans. That's how the show really kind of started, was TV was our biggest focus, and then of course the movies. But we're at this point now where even the best Marvel movies, it's kind of starting to, I don't want to say decline in quality. It's not the right word. I think we're just kind of getting tired.
Yeah.
So what was the last Marvel movie that we probably saw? It's probably Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Like together, you're saying?
In general, we saw Ant-Man and the Wasp together, I think.
Honestly, this is how bad things are. I could probably tell you a movie right now, and it probably came out before Ant-Man and the Wasp, like the Marvels. Was that
We watched the Marvels when it hit Disney Plus, so we definitely saw Ant-Man
okay?
and the Wasp: Quantumania first, because
Yeah.
we did see that in theaters.
Yes.
So we're at this point, and we actually, for the most part, enjoyed both movies. Question mark. They're very forget. I have not watched either since.
I haven't either.
And for me, my biggest issue is I have to do the editing, and so I have to put like clips in, or not. I
Yeah.
don't have to. I just choose to because it's actually a lot of fun, and I'm like
Yeah.
weird. But like trying to just go through clips of like the Marvels, it
Mhm.
actually made me not want to watch the Marvels again.
It was funny actually. I saw my brother-in-law posted a meme or whatever, a short video, whatever you want to call it, of how CGI has gone like downhill recently,
Mhm.
and it was like the first Transformers movie, and then for like the today's, it was Quantumanium CGI with like the big head and all that stuff. Be
Oh.
like, this is where we were with Transformers, how amazing it looked, to Quantumanium, which I didn't think was terrible. Like it had moments of jankiness, but it wasn't terrible quality CGI.
No, it's weird. Like we're again, it's a really weird time for us. Like, so
Yeah.
you have DC's trying to get their footing. We just got our first look at Superman's new costume. I'll try and put like a nice picture of it right here. Insert picture here. But it's been a bit a mixed bag with the super. Did you see Superman's costume?
I did not actually.
What do you do with your life besides work and take care of your family? Jeez.
Going to school too.
Again, my statement stands. But anyway, so the new Superman costume was released, and there's been a mixed bag of reaction to it. But again,
Mhm.
I remember when Henry Cavill's costume first got looked. It was that shot of him against the bank vault, and
Yeah.
where people said the same thing. They were like, "Oh, it looks stupid." He looks. The people kept saying he looks Cuban in that. I remember that. That was like an actual
Yeah.
thing. But
You
again,
can't it's set photos, it's not touched up, it's just generic, not generic looking, but, it still needs to touch up and edit, if they give it more color, they can add, like, kinda effects to it if they choose to go that route, obviously, but a lot of times that color that you see in the photos are not the colors that it's going to be. It's going to be obviously a shade of that color, but they'll pop it or bring it down depending on what they decide to do exactly with it.
if I have time for the editing, I'm gonna make everything you just said. I'm gonna make it so colorful. I'm just gonna add all colors and contrast, all these things, just for funsies, just because I can, and that is true. We have always said that you can't judge. First of all, you never judge a costume by the set photos, ever, 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 because they
Yeah,
will look different in the actual production. Like we're big fans of The Witcher. Speaking of Henry Cavill, he was recast by Liam Hemsworth of all people, who can't hold a torch to my sweet, sweet Henry Cavill. God, he's a good-looking man. Anyway.
the body can. That's
What?
the body can hold the torch.
I don't know how I feel about your statement, but
You
okay.
don't think Liam Hemsworth has the body
No,
type?
no. Henry Cavill's a god. He is a god of a man. He's the god
No,
of
no, no.
effort.
That's Chris Hemsworth.
That's fun. I would actually like to see them two in a movie. That'd be a lot of fun. But so for me, like they showed all these new set photos of Liam Hemsworth, and it's like it's rough. Like it's hard to look
Yeah,
at just because they're set photos. They're
yeah,
not again, they're not touched up, they're not taken at the right angles, the lighting, blah blah blah, et cetera, et cetera. So I never judge, even though this isn't a set photo. This is like the official photo that they released of
yeah,
David Cornsweet as Superman, but it's okay. And we'll wait to see. He does have the red trunks though. They're going with the red underwear.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah. Underwear on the outside. Who would have thought? Not me. But anyway. Fun fact, do you know where the red underwear came from?
It came from a guy that didn't like wedgies.
It's actually a solid answer. But no, they wanted to make him look like the strong men from the circus. That's how Superman was
Yeah.
designed. But so going back to the discussion point, and it's even funnier because mentioning Liam Hemsworth, not Liam Hemsworth, Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth has done a lot of press about the superhero movie genre because people are they're talking shit. They're saying
Yeah.
it's a dying art. It's going downhill. And the problem you run into, and he is like the staunchest defender, but also the biggest critic. Like he openly says, he's like, we went too silly with Thor: Love and Thunder. We went too far. And I think what happened was Marvel got really, really comfortable being quote unquote the best, and they found their formula and it worked. We've done a ton of episodes about Marvel versus DC, which is better, which is worse. Usually we tend to lead towards the TV side for DC and the movie side for Marvel. That shifted back and forth a little bit, but for the most part, I think our statement still stands. But
Yeah.
for me, like the fact that Chris Hemsworth is like, hey, this is the character that defined me, and I'm going to defend the superhero genre as an art because apparently a lot of people will talk about I should never have done a superhero movie. They're stupid. Like we're going back to that kind
Yeah.
of mentality. For me, like the fact that he acknowledges, hey, we didn't do this right, given another chance, who knows? Maybe we will. But it's a lot of things going on, and it's really hard to pick
Yeah.
out just one thing that's causing all the issues, you know?
Yes.
But I think we can all agree that the biggest issue is Sony making Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man. Apparently,
Yeah.
Madam
Yep.
Web is trending on Netflix. It just got released as a time of recording. It just got released this week, and oh my
Oh,
god,
did it? Oh,
it's
maybe
on.
I'll finally watch it.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. God, it. I haven't watched it myself, but it's supposedly just horrific.
That's what I heard, but it's like one of those, it's so bad I wanna watch it
I
type of
I can
things.
get behind that. Like there are plenty of really bad movies that I like watching. Like I love Dragon Ball Evolution, even though it's so bad. It is a dumpster fire
Yeah.
in a train wreck. That's how bad that movie is, but I just
Yeah.
love it. It's like watching NASCAR. You want to watch it for the crash.
Oh, yeah.
But you got so Sony's also uh, there's a lot of things happening this year. First and foremost, Marvel has recently said that they are going to slow down with production of their movies. And I think that was also their biggest issue. They wanted to just crank them out one right after the
Yeah.
other. And after Endgame, they never really recaught their magic.
Literally, they didn't catch it. Like Shang-Chi and,
What?
Doctor Strange.
I like Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi was fine, and
Yes.
they are making a sequel. Doctor Strange, we will always say kind of fell short, and Thor: Love and
Yeah.
Thunder was the biggest disappointment, especially not
Oh
even
yeah.
after Endgame, but after Ragnarok.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
Thor peaked, and I will always say it. Thor peaked in Infinity War when he appeared with Stormbreaker. That was probably
Yeah.
the defining Thor moment of all time. And
Hmm.
Infinity War actually found the perfect balance of silly, humorous Thor and serious like King Thor.
Yeah.
And they lost it. Taika Waititi, as much as I love Taika Waititi, I think he's hilarious. He went too far with it.
Which is tough because he Thor could have been used as, I think, like the next Captain America
Hmm.
or Iron Man type of thing, where it's more so Iron Man because obviously Captain America is like the big name when it comes to Marvel, and he kind of always has been, along with Spider Man, obviously.
Hmm.
But Iron Man, no one really knew about until the movies.
Right.
You can argue people kind of knew about Thor, kind of,
Yeah,
before the
he was known
movies.
enough. Yeah.
Yeah, but like they could have just taken and done the Iron Man treatment to Thor, and they started to, like you said, with Ragnarok, with Infinity War, and then it just went
Yeah.
like nosedive. Not even like gradual decrease. It just nosedived.
Well, it's funny. We look back at Endgame, and it's Sean from Cinematic Adventures. Like, comment, subscribe. He's not the biggest Endgame fan. Like, he loves it like as much as we did, but
Yeah,
he's the first person to be like, it was great for an ending to that, but it's as like its own standalone movie. It doesn't like. I
yeah,
personally put Infinity War above Endgame in terms of like
I
if I'm gonna watch
yeah,
a single movie, Endgame. I love the ending. It's a lot of build up. It's a lot of talking, and some of the things that we thought were funny or good in the theater, like Smart Hulk, they have not held up well.
yeah. It's almost like Endgame is only good for literally like from on your left on.
Yeah.
That's
So,
about it.
speaking of which, we did get our first. There's been some footage and there's been some images of Sam Wilson's Captain America. And
Yes.
from what we were told, because the trailer that they showed at the last convention, it has not been released. Like they have not actually released footage. They've just released the new photo of him in his new outfit.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of talk that General Ross, now played by Harrison Ford, wants him to reband the Avengers or create a new Avengers team. And we've seen a lot of that, and we've speculated because we've got the young Avengers that are doing their thing because we had
Hmm.
Miss Marvel and Kate Bishop, and they keep
Yep.
introducing all these young superheroes. And I'm fine with it, but in all honesty, I would rather just see a new Avengers type movie.
I would like to see a new Avengers movie first, but also have the Young Avengers going because Marvel is sticking with Kang. You
As of
know,
now, yes, as of
as
now,
of now, he's the Thanos of this couple phases.
right?
You know, so I would like I if they're sticking with that route, I feel like we're gonna get a team up of Young Avengers and Avengers to defeat Kang in what 6 years, whatever it is, for the finale basically of these phases. So, but again, I would like to see Avengers, and it's just gonna be curious to see who the Avengers are gonna be.
Yeah, because we have not heard much about whatever Spider-Man's going to be up to. I think that they're going to kind of keep him solo, which is fine. I'm okay with that. Apparently, one of the former directors, I think it was Webb, who did Amazing Spider-Man 1 or 2. He did one of them.
Mhm.
He actually just recently said, whatever the next director does, don't have Spider-Man swinging on a practical line because then it just looks like a dude swinging around.
Yeah,
I get what he was trying to say, but in all honesty, I actually really liked an Amazing Spider-Man. They had a couple of shots of like an actual stunt guy swinging. I think
yeah,
sometimes it adds a certain realism to it.
yeah. You don't overuse it, but you pop it in there every once in a while, like you said, just to be like, "Ooh, that looks real," instead of, "Yeah, that's definitely CGI."
Yeah, but we also have Sony's trying to do their thing that we have Craven still coming out this year. Craven's coming out supposedly.
Completely forgot about that.
Craven and Venom 3, and
Yep.
just it is Sony needs to just stop. Like as great as we love the original Raimi trilogy of Spider-Man
Hmm.
movies, I'm still a staunch defender of the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. They're not high class movies by any chance, but I
Yeah.
think I they're still such a good time. But otherwise, like Madam Web, Morbius, like they can't figure it out. And
No, it's because of the fact that Marvel can't step in.
to a point, I think even if you had like Tom Holland's Spider-Man in Morbius, it wouldn't have saved Morbius.
Oh, no, but even if you just get the Marvel Disney money into it and, like, using some of their people because, again, Marvel was on top for years when it came to the movies, you know? And then, obviously, like we talked about lately, it's kind of been dying. I wouldn't say it's dead, but it's been dying, so even if you're just getting some of the quality that you had, which I mean, do you attribute that to Disney slash Marvel, or do you attribute it to, your big names, not necessarily them, but, the Russo brothers,
So
you
I
know?
don't blame the Russo brothers because they took what they were given and they made art out of
Yeah,
it. Like, Winter Soldier's fantastic. But then again, Winter Soldier benefits from having a solid script and a
yeah,
solid cast. You need both. You need direction, you need cast, you need a script, and they figured it out. Like the Russo brothers did a great job with what they were given, especially
yeah.
with giant ensemble movies. I would love to see the Russos do the X-Men movie when it rolls around.
That or I mean, like we talked about, Sony's kind of building up for a Sinister movie.
They've been trying to do a Sinister Six movie for so long.
Yeah.
All it does is make us roll our eyes. Like, why was Vulture there? It makes no sense in Morbius. But anyway, so speaking of the X Men, now we talk about the decline of superhero properties, but X Men '97 at time of recording, without spoilers, because we're gonna do our whole episode when Ronnie actually watches the damn show. X
Ah,
Men '97 at time of recording had its season finale yesterday, and it is not only the highest rated Marvel animation project, which is wild, it was freaking awesome. And they did things in that show that were just so good. They made Cyclops badass again. They didn't focus too much on Wolverine. They adapted great storylines and great story beats. So like it's just been it was a really good time.
yeah.
But for me, like they need to do more like that. They need to focus on quality and just take their time and really put the effort in. And I think slowing down with how many movies that they release is a good idea. It's a solid idea.
Yeah.
As
But
much as we want to see more of some of these characters, I think slowing down. Now, speaking of seeing more characters, we're not going to talk too much about DC because unfortunately, DC, we know very little about. Like, we know that Superman's coming out next year and we know that Supergirl's coming out the following year. They did say Frank Grillo is going to be reprising, quote unquote, reprising his role. He's going to be in Creature Commandos, I think, as
mhm.
Rick Flag's father. Apparently, he's going to be on Peacemaker season two, playing the same character.
Huh, interesting.
And I am so about it because that's a show I miss. I actively miss
Yes.
Baker. It was so much fun. But in terms of DC, until we have not seen trailers, we've not seen this, so we don't know what the tone is. We don't know what the vibe's going to be. But there is hope. There's one ray of sunshine that we are eagerly anticipating, and that is Deadpool 3 or Deadpool and Wolverine. At time of recording, it's about 5 weeks out,
Yeah.
July 27th. I know it's funny because we don't get to see movies in theaters as much anymore, but I know that like producer Melanie and I are already talking about like we're gonna go see this movie. We're gonna go see this
Yeah.
friggin' in theaters because I don't want a damn thing spoiled.
Yeah.
Have you read some of the rumors?
I have not. I've been trying to stay away because we all know, big Deadpool fan. So I don't like you. I don't want any spoilers. I don't want to hear anything. Literally, I don't. I can't tell you the last time I looked at like a superhero comic book like website or any sort of content on social media because I don't want anything spoiled. Like I think in the future I'm gonna do my best. Obviously for this I have to watch trailers, but like deep down inside, like I don't even want to watch trailers anymore.
Yeah, I think though for Deadpool and Wolverine, they are going to do a very good job of keeping as many things under wraps or as
Yeah.
long as they can. And so here are some of the favorite ones that I have. Chris Evans and Michael B. Jordan both playing their respective Human Torches. That
Hmm.
one's a personal favorite. I'd love to see them interact. So I think that this movie's also going to be a good chance to see some of these characters actually interact. And
Yeah.
I have no problem with it. Basically, if they do the ending of Deadpool 2 where he's traveling throughout the timeline trying to fix things, I'd be okay with that as a movie. That'd be a fun
Oh
ass
yeah.
movie. And for me, this is my favorite one. All right. There's a rumor. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's just a really fun rumor that Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill are going to be in this movie as Batman and Superman. And there's going to be a scene where he accidentally travels into the DC universe at one point. That's a huge rumor. Do not take it with a huge grain of salt, but
Wow.
it's funny because Deadpool 2 was on FX the other day. It's really funny watching Deadpool 2 on FX because some of the things they actively edit and then other things they just don't. And usually it's when he's in the mask. When he's out of the mask, I think it was, they edit, which is strange because you got to match it with the lips. But when he's in
Yeah.
the mask, they don't edit. I was like, I feel like that'd be the easier option.
Yeah.
Strange. But they make a lot of references to DC in that movie. I totally forgot. Like
They do,
they
yeah.
talk about Martha. They do Batman, you're so dark, you sure not from the DC universe.
Yeah.
So if they could figure out a way, maybe it won't be like as blatant as it's like, oh my god, it's Batman and Superman. It's like, just Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill, and you just
Yeah.
assume who they are. There's
Or
also
they have this T-shirt.
yeah, there is a rumor that Henry Cavill is going to be playing a variant of Wolverine because that was a big thing. But
Yeah.
we got a lot going on. Fantastic Four is doing a bunch of their casting. They cast their Galactus.
Yeah.
Tasha Leone just got cast in an unknown role. Like they have a lot going on. So as much as the fatigue might be there, I think in all honesty, it's not so much that we're tired of the movies. I think we're tired of the lower quality. Like even just the
Yeah.
FX, like Thor: Love and Thunder was notorious for like the floating head of that kid, like how bad
Yeah.
it was, and that's not a hard effect. Like not
No.
that I'm gonna do it right now in the YouTube video.
Oh,
Like
no.
probably figure it out, but anyway. So that's going to be just kind of the end of our tirade. Like there's not a whole lot going on right now. We have a lot of shows that are starting back up. Superman and Lois is going to be starting back up. We're going to do a full episode on TVs versus movies soon, and
Yeah.
there's a lot that's going to be happening. But right now, the question is, do we want it to be happening? So if you guys are watching on YouTube, besides liking, commenting, subscribing for more mediocre content, leave a comment down below if you think that the superhero fatigue is actually real, or if you think it's just a lack of quality or just too many things all at once. Like Assassin's Creed was another example. Like they were popping
Yeah.
out games so fast that eventually their quality started to dip. So let us know down in the comments below. And of course, if you guys want more of our content, it's super easy. Just go to our website, themisfitfaction.com, and you can find all of our different shows, all of our friends, affiliates, news, reviews, articles, merch, all that stuff. And of course, we're on all the social media, especially we're on Facebook. It's every Friday, Fan Feedback Friday. We still do that. That's the one thing that I try to stay pretty consistent with. So this one was fun. We had actually out of a couple of like I picked a handful of old school characters: Dick Tracy, the Shadow, the Phantom, and the Rocketeer. I asked who thinks, or like what do people think should get like an old school character that should get a revival. The most common was all of them. Dick Tracy, our friend Ryan said, leave the Phantom alone. Billy Zane was iconic, but a Dick Tracy reboot would be fun. Let's see. Blonde Phantom. Ah, that's an interesting one. Our friend Anthony wrote that one. But yeah, so it's funny because there are a lot of old school characters that people forget had stuff. But
Yeah.
let's see, Doc Savage. That's one I didn't even put. And of course, Sean's like all of them. I'd watch that movie.
Yeah.
That actually be a fun movie. Like I'd
An
be okay
Avenger
if they did
style with all of them in it.
because they all fit a class. They all fit a class period. I'd be okay
Yeah.
with it. Fighting Nazis. Bring them on. Let's
Yeah, right?
But if you guys want to participate in Fan Feedback Friday, it's super easy. Go to our Facebook page every Friday between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll have a Fan Feedback Friday, so make sure you guys check that out. And also make sure you guys check out all of our other social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Check it out. Like, comment, subscribe, all the mediocre content. But I think that is going to wrap us up for tonight. As always, I'm Paul,
I'm Ronnie.
and we'll be back in a flash.
See ya.